and welcome to Startups in Spotlight by Horses Table News. With focus on the latest updates from the international startup ecosystem, we bring to you up to the minute news coverage of startup fundings, investor opinions, innovations, as well as upcoming global entrepreneurial events. I'm Saloni Agarwal, your host for today. We have with us Mr. Raj M. Fani. He's the founder of Zaggle, Mumbai-based digital payments, cashback, and analytics company, which is helping companies and retailers go big on customer loyalty. Welcome to Horses Table News, Raj. It's a pleasure to have you on our show.
Same here. Thank you. Thank you so much.
So, starting from a merchandising venture, eYantra in 2001, you have been an entrepreneur for a couple of decades now. How has your journey been so far?
Thank you, Saloni, for having me on your channel. It's been a pleasure, and I appreciate that you have been doing a phenomenal job with the channel Horses and
Thank you
City.
so much.
So, Yantra is my actually second or actually I should say, a semi third venture. Before I started very early in life. I grew up in Delhi. So at the age of about 16 odd years, which was about 1987 or so, I started, selling T-shirts to earn extra pocket money. You understand that, parents in those days, were strict. They did not want to give, too much of pocket money to children because children will get, spoiled was the feeling those days. And so is today. Today, you don't have a choice. You have to shell out whatever, your children are asking.
Right.
So so there is where I started. So I started doing custom merchandising, which was basically, doing prints on T-shirts, which the youngsters or the millennials will like, our age people, and those days. And I was able to, do a good sale of about, first day when I started the print, I sold about 50 odd T-shirts, and the profit in that 50 odd T-shirts was about 5,000 bucks. 5,000 bucks was like way too good
Right.
in those days for me.
Yes.
And because I had, all my friends were from what do you call, from very rich backgrounds. Okay, so it was also difficult matching up with them in terms of their expenditure versus my expenditure. Okay, so and I wanted to definitely have some or the other way to be able to make more money than the pocket money, right, which my parents were giving. So they did their best. I wanted to do better. Okay, and that's how it started. And so post that, which was 1987, I actually has not, I have not looked back. Okay, and I made, enough money from, there. And my story was, like, why did I sell T-shirts, to make more money was, it started off with a shoe which I wanted to buy. The shoe was called, Nike Air. And, the price in Gafar market in Delhi was about, 1,250 bucks. So all the money which I had saved, amounted to about 800 odd rupees, from my pocket money. And I could not afford that shoe. Okay, so that was the reason that I said, if I have to, and I wanted to buy that shoe at any cost because, youngsters want to flaunt. And, that was a great shoe. I wanted to, you understand, right? Those
Right.
days. And,
Yes,
parents are
totally.
not, then you have to find your own ways to do it, right?
Right.
So that's how I started. And, the Nike Air shoe, which was a rage in those days, started my entrepreneurial journey. Then I, started a company which was into financial services. This was like while I was doing my MBA from Delhi. I started that company and sold that company in 1996. To a group based out of Hyderabad, based out of South. And post that, with whatever money I got, from there, I went to the United States to do my MBA from New York. And post that, I started, while coming back to, I came back to India in 2001, but I started the company in the US and then brought the same concept to India. And that's how eYantra was born.
But both eYantra and Zaggle are completely different sectors. How did you find this, you know, shift after running an e-yantra for more than 12 years?
But one thing is that Yantra was, when we started, it was a highly profitable company. We were in the merchandising space.
Right.
I had come from PricewaterhouseCoopers, so a lot of procurement guys and marketing people whom we used to meet. They used to say, "Oh, what kind of a business are you into? Right? You are such an educated guy. You should be doing different stuff." But for me, the challenge was that gifting was a absolutely unorganized market. It had there were like many players, means too many players, but there was no organized segment out there, right? And I wanted to create opportunity. I just didn't want to do any and every business. My interest was not to set up a steel plant, or to say set up a cement plant or something like that. I was very focused on creating a niche where nobody is there. So I saw that the space is open. I would be able to build a beautiful company out there. And that's how I started Yantra. The vision was very clear. In fact, I remember we had a town hall, as it is called now. Those days it was just group meetings or team meetings, is how we used to call it. The guy said, if we are able to do 3 crores, that's like that will be like phenomenal. Okay. So in my second year of business, I crossed 3 crores. Okay. This was like initially when we started, they said, if we do 3 crores, we would have achieved everything. So second year I crossed it, third year. So every year I was doubling, till about 5 years. And post that, my rate of growth was very healthy at about 50% odd. And it was a highly profitable company. The company showed profits, every year. Okay, but what I realized is after reaching a certain point, there was no scale. So if I spend 1 rupee, okay, the scale which I was getting was maybe 1.5. So this was not enough for us, right? So what I realized is that the marginal curve started kicking. So we started putting in more money. The return on that money started slowing down. So then I was thinking, what do I do? A business which could scale, right? And that's when I thought of a company called Zaggle. And Zaggle emanates from a fact that don't haggle, just Zaggle. Okay, so it's an antidote to haggle, and Indians are known for haggling. So the thought was to tell Indians, don't haggle, just Zaggle was how it started.
So that's how the name Zaggle has come.
Was that?
So that's how the name the Zaggle has come, from haggle.
Yes. That's how the name to Zaggle has come. So we started with that, and what really worked for us, Saloni, was in the we had a base of Yantra to start with, right? So we were able to quickly start the business. So the first year we did about 4 crores. Okay. 4 crores in in the GTV, okay, or gross transaction volume. And this year we probably will close about somewhere between 6 to 7,000 crores as per our runway. Okay, so the runway has been phenomenal. Okay, so if this year we close, let's say about 6,000 odd crores, that will be like a huge jump. So in about 7.5 odd years, 8 years, company has been able to move from 4 crores to 6,000 crores is huge.
That's very huge, yes.
That's the scale, right? So the scale is what I was looking for. We have been able to get that scale. We have been, even though margins are very less or thin, but what happens is when you have such a large scale, every rupee which you are doing, you are able to, take a small chip out of it, right? So that's beautiful. And, with that scale, it also gives you, that much more, leverage to be able to do quite a few other things, which have not been tried and tested.
Got it, yeah. So you started Zaggle as a gift card provider and then pivoted to customer loyalty. What factors pushed you for this change?
Okay, so we still do prepaid. We still being one of the biggest on prepaid segment. So now today, if you look at it, so we have moved from a prepaid, just a prepaid card company, to a full-fledged digital SaaS fintech company. Okay, so today, if you look at it, Saloni, we have multiple software products in the SaaS space. We have an expense management software called SAVE, which is called Save. We have a reward and recognition product which is called Propel. Okay, We are now
Right.
getting into open banking. With the open banking, we would be doing quite a different thing, right? So see, it's all evolution. So what happens is when you started with one, you saw market opportunity, you saw that there was no player, less competition, and need is there, right? But the
Right.
need yesterday was latent, the need today has become more pronounced. Okay, and that's how we started. We started slowly building it up, and from a just a prepaid gift card player to today we are a full powerhouse. Okay, so I wouldn't say that we are a full-fledged financial services player, but we are very close to it. Another
Good.
couple of things, if we add, we should be able to do, we should be able to become a full-fledged financial services player,
Right.
right? If you look at, we are also launching a very very big announcement which has already happened with Visa, is the founders card. If you look at the
Okay.
founders card, it is an amazing product. It is need of the hour. It is like in COVID times, if a product like founders card can be given, is would be of huge help, right? And founders card would mean that we are getting into the lending space. Okay, and especially in the SME lending space, there is a huge gap today. Okay, SMEs don't get funded, and
Right.
what we are doing through open banking is tying up this founders card with open banking, adding expense management software to it, so that we are slowly and slowly deep into the company.
Got it. Got it. So you have these very different products, right? So which product is working well for the company?
So I think all the products are doing very well, but the outstanding product right now I would say is Save, which is the expense management software that is
Okay.
doing exceedingly well. We have got very very large clients, and in the coming days you will also hear couple of very very large announcements which we are going to do.
So how was your first year with Zaggle, Raj? What were the key challenges that you had to face?
Okay, so the first year with, so at that time, Yantra was a full-fledged running company.
Correct.
So, what I did was, and Zaggle is something which, we were thinking that we want to do. So, we took one existing guy from Yantra and put him into Zaggle. Okay, and
Okay.
said that now, boss, you have to run Zaggle. And then, in the year 2012, we got Avinash Godkhandi, who is the CEO and MD of the company right now. So we got him. He was, working with Citibank. So we got him on board, and since then he has been running. So from 2011 to about 2016, I didn't run, or I would say that I didn't participate in Zaggle much. Okay, so I wasn't, I formally joined Zaggle in 2016.
Okay. But then what were
So
the key challenges that you had faced?
yes, yes. Yeah, sure. I'll come to that point.
Yes.
So, there were way too many challenges. Okay, way too many means I can't even tell you what, challenges were like. Just first was that, we wanted to put a prepaid card which is acceptable at select stores. Okay, so for example, we created a lifestyle card, which was called Wave. And the idea was that, this will use at, you can use this at Cafe Coffee Day, you can use it at Inox, you can use it at Domino's, you can use it at Lifestyle, and 2 3 other stores. Okay, now like nobody had heard of something called restricted access network card. Okay, neither the banks had heard of it, nor like the networks had heard of it, right?
Mhm.
So when we proposed, they said, no, nothing. How can you do a card like this? It is not possible. They said, why is it not possible, right? And that's our, so it took 8 months to convince them that something like this can be run, right? So, and then who is the processor? So find, and everything was new to us, okay, completely new.
Right.
So we didn't know what to do. So we said, okay, we went from here to there, and I tell you, 8 months we would have done this, triangular thing called Hyderabad, Mumbai, Bangalore, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Mumbai, Mumbai, Hyderabad, Bangalore. Okay, so like that we would have done in 8 months. I'm telling you, we would have done maybe around 1,000 trips. Okay,
Wow.
the entire team including. Okay, so and we didn't know what to do, how to do. So that was one challenge. Okay, the second was the novelty of the concept. It was so new. to the banking system, that bank wasn't very sure that, how to manage it or how to tackle it. It was the first time somebody was launching a restricted access network card in India. Okay, first time, right? So that was the second challenge. The third challenge was that, to popularize the card, we needed money. Okay, and because Zaggle was, formed as part of eYantra, all the funding, in the initial days came from eYantra, right? And then, it was that, but Zaggle wanted more and more money, so we didn't know, how to get more money for that kind of business. And people were also, looking at it and thought that, it is, they'll take a little bit of time to understand. VCs, other guys wanted to see, and that there is proof of concept before they invest. So those were challenges. And then, when you go to the clients and you tell them, see, why are you buying, this voucher, that voucher, instead of this, buy this card, and this card can be used at all these stores. So they didn't believe. Okay, they said, okay, how do we give the card? So physical voucher is much better. So all of that, right? So those were big challenges. Then the team was a challenge, because team, was accustomed to selling it in a particular way. Okay, so for them, they would go, pick up a Shopper Stop voucher, or pick up a, lifestyle voucher, or something like, or Amazon wasn't there that time, so much. Okay, so they didn't know, what to do. Today, if you look at it, it is, it has become the norm. So e-vouchers, digital vouchers have become the norm. What, we started, and where we were principally the first company to do it in India, today everybody does that. So the challenge is always that, the first mover advantage sometimes is also slightly difficult, Saloni, because, the first mover goes through a lot of pain. Okay, and that pain is very hard, to figure out. So, but we were at it. We never allowed the ball to be dropped. Okay, we ensured we had full confidence in how we would be, that we'll be able to make a huge success of Zaggle. I loved the name Zaggle. It looked a very, very, peppy name. Okay, right, compared to eYantra. So but but that was also one, big reason for us to push. And then, slowly we have seen that, our efforts to an extent have paid off.
True. Between 2017 to 2018, Zaggle revenue shoot up to 6 times to 650 crore in just a year. What were the key strategies you put in place to achieve this target?
Yeah, so till about 2017, what we had done was we were totally dependent on our own sales. So we would go to corporates and we will sell that, right? Then we introduced a new use case. Okay, use case was to use distribution strategy. Okay, and we got in a lot of distributors to to Zaggle, and because of using those distributors, they were able to build more and more use cases, for our card called Kuber. Because of Kuber, we were able to rake up tremendous amount of volume. The volume just shot through for us, right? And imagine to 650 crores in 2018, to something called 6,000 crores in 2021, right? So growth has been 10 times on that in next 3 years. So that has continued. What we did, that distribution strategy has helped us a lot. We have got multiple partners. Now we are constantly working on how to improve our market channel strategy, to introduce new products, sell the same products to sell the if we have sold one product to a client, we want to sell more and more to the same guy. So we have introduced multiple products. Now the guys who bought our Save today, will also buy our open banking, would also buy our founders card, would also buy our reward and recognition platform.
Right. So what are the brands you're associated with?
Name any brand you like.
Okay. What are the services you're offering to the brands like Pizza Hut, Domino's?
So, so if you look at Pizza Hut, right? So, or Pizza Hut or Domino's or any of those, brands, okay? See, they have to acquire new customers. Okay, how many times would you eat? The same guy would eat pizza. So maybe right, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, right? So they have to constantly, acquire newer and newer customers. So how do they acquire newer customers, right? How do they entice that somebody has to come into? So I'm talking pre-COVID times. Okay, how do you entice them, to come to the
True.
store, or how do you entice them to,
Do an
go ahead
online.
and,
Yes.
right? Yeah. So what we did, we have a very, very large corporate database. Okay. So in that very large corporate database, we do, okay, that this is the particular age group. This is how, this particular company, has like a lot of millions in them. So they probably would prefer, pizza. And then we do a very carved out strategy and reach out to these customers through, specialized offers. Okay. So these specialized offers are, one time offers, could be 3 times offer, but we use this particular strategy of, mining the data and use a little bit of artificial intelligence on that data to be able to come up with a set of consumers who are more likely to buy, Pizza Hut coupon or voucher.
You have also launched the ZAG network. So can you share the premise of this venture with our viewers?
Yeah, so ZAG network I already sold. I started for a blockchain project, and one of its kind in the world. So working on the account based model, and using private and public keys, we were able to create a phenomenal product. Okay, so in fact NPCI also gave us a chance to showcase our product. But I'm just the founder and a shareholder now. I've sold majority of my stake to a set of investors.
Right. So tell us about your work culture at Zaggle. How is everyday like for you there?
So for me, I work like sometimes it amazes me as well, because sometimes I just come to office on Sundays as well. Okay, so the kind of culture we have is one of very open. I love my team. Team is just superb, means superb. Fantastic. Team, very entrepreneurial culture. Want to go and acquire everything in this world. Want to like just go and extremely ambitious team. Which is led by Avinash Gotin, CEO and MD. So we have a very, very, and the question is, more than a team, it's a family. So, if you would have seen, or if you're following, we just got them organic mangoes, 2 days back, and distributed 5 kgs packs, to all our employees. Okay. So, so it's like a family, like how you bring something for the family. So it's a very, how do you call, very entrepreneurial culture, very, very, how do you, help each other to grow kind of a culture, very, very open. You can speak, you can talk, whatever. And the best part is the entire top management team is highly accessible. It's not that, like an office. Yeah. So it's like not hierarchical at all. It's like anti-hierarchy, and, anybody can reach the top boss. So sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad.
But it's nothing. How do you think the opportunity Indian ecosystem, startup ecosystem, has evolved in the last few years?
Opportunity, have emerged in the ecosystem. The ecosystem has become much, much bigger. So I am reminded of my Silicon Valley days in 99, 2000. So when I look at India, what I see is that what it used to be in 2002, 2003 versus today, which is about 2019, 20, the world has completely changed. We have accelerators, we have incubators, we have like co-working spaces, we have like so many, angel funds. But I still see that, the venture capital activity or the private equity capital of, private equity capital in India is still very, very low. I think India can do a lot more, with more and more, angel investors, more and more, venture capitalists and private equity players, because that would help. But in terms of, how entrepreneurship used to be looked at, way back in, 90s, today entrepreneurship is looked at, it's a celebratory, feeling. Okay. So versus, क्या करोगे business, बंद कर दो, कुछ नहीं होगा, to, like, oh wow, you're starting a company, all the best. So that has gone through a, sea change, right? What has also improved is the job scene. Okay. So in the 90s and early 2000s, IT was the only space where you could get a job. Okay. Otherwise, most of the sectors were like either a sales job or this. There was nothing called product management, nothing called other things. You were an engineer, you will get into factory or you will get into a software company, right? So those were the kind of things. And doctors, of course, had, doctors could always, they are the precious lot, right? But what I see is that I think it has grown by thousands and thousands of times, how it used to be and how it is now.
The outbreak of COVID-19. So tell us one of the toughest situations you've been in as a business owner.
So I would say, see, as a business owner, I have not been in too much of trouble because, to be honest, I would say, touch wood, we have been extremely lucky. We have been able to, increase our business, multiple times in last 2-3 months. But, as a human, I am extremely, as a person, I am extremely saddened, to look at the plight of, overall, society, the kind of, problems which the laborers or the not-haves are facing is, is unbelievable, right? It's just unbelievable. When you see those migrant laborers, walking back, it just pains you so much that, you start questioning the, the entire existence, right? As to, what are we doing? So we did, some stuff from our side, as a company, we helped, the Hyderabad police, the Mumbai police, plus, some of the other states like Andhra Pradesh, where we distributed, kits, worth crores, okay, so which were also, donated by, some of the large corporates. So we helped that way. We were the first company, on March 27th, to announce a COVID bonus, for all our employees. We went ahead, gave them a immediate, first day itself, we gave them a, 10,000 rupees bonus to each of those guys to be able to, buy something which, essentials, and the work from home concept, because work from home was not okay to be, was new to a lot of them, especially on the operation side and the accounting side. IT is still okay, like our engineers were still okay to work from home, but some of them were facing challenges. So the other thing was that, we were constantly doing town halls, reassuring, our members that not even a single job would be lost. And that's what we did. See, we have not removed even a single person. Okay, the natural attrition where people, put in resignations and move on are okay. That has happened. We have also hired a lot of people, in this time. So as a business, I have not been too much affected, but, I am always on my tenterhooks, because, if one guy, is positive in the company, the entire company will go for a toss. So what kind of virus is this? How we are not equipped at all to handle it. And this bio warfare, which is happening is like, is what we had seen in movies. Right. Now we are actually seeing it in.
We're actually living it. Yeah.
Yeah, we are living it, and, I think that this kind of a situation may not come for, next few decades, right? But the point is, it pains a lot, to see that the medical facilities, whatever we have, are just not being, enough, to manage, right? True. And as a person, it is like really sometimes defeating me. Okay.
According to you, are mistakes made by other startups that have failed in this space? How are you trying to avoid them?
So my so mistakes all of us have done, and if you look at my list of mistakes, probably I would have done every mistake in the world which is there. So
err is human.
So that is just being human, to err is human.
To err is human, yes.
I believe, right? And but what I see is that like a lot of these startups want a lot of things, in a very short space of time. Okay. Definitely want to give them an advice that take one area, become more focused, build that area first before you start anything, right? See, I remember, my call way back, with Sachin Bansal, way back in 2009 days, when they were only in one category called books. Okay. And we were saying, why don't, that time India Plaza, Rediff were like, India Times were like bigger players. Okay. was like, how they built, if you really look at it, and I think because of Flipkart's success, okay, Indian ecosystem has gained a lot. Okay, so how they built was just the books, then one category, then they slowly opened all the people. People said books, there is nothing more can happen to the book, right? You order a book, book will come. Okay, so there is nothing like, experience is not there in book, right? So first they gained the entire experience in books being a safe category. And then they moved on and on and on and on, right? So similar is what I would say to all startups. Take one area, niche area, focus on that area, build that area, become, a decent player, get that customer knowledge in that area, see that what needs to be done, improve your operations, improve your efficiencies, and then start expanding. But a lot of startups want to do a lot of things ASAP. And that is what bothers me.
Got it. Raj, any plans for expansion? What are your plans going ahead?
Yes, so in the worst of COVID times, we opened our Canada office.
Okay.
So Canada got opened on on May 4th. So which is like which is fantastic for us that opening our office in COVID times was unheard of, and we opened the it's an international expansion we have done. So we are also going to open our office in London, and our idea is to do more and more countries in the coming days.
It was really great talking to you. Thank you for being a part of our show and sharing your experience.
Sure, absolutely, Saloni. Really, really nice speaking to you. So happy, to be on your channel. Really, really appreciate.
Thank you
Thanks
so much.
Sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Viewers, for listening to our show. Stay tuned for our next episode.